I'm here with the Freedom Kitten, Luna. Can you come up here, Luna? See if she can make it. Well, I'm gonna show you. So this is the reason that I missed, whoa! And the dogs would have come in too. Come here, girl. Okay. So the reason I missed my training session today is because, well, I was going for a COVID test, but mostly it was because I was taking care of the Freedom Kitten, Luna, who is right here. I thought of naming her Tawny Catane, but I thought nobody who was around during the 80s would get it. Up, see, there she goes. She's a very good girl. All right, so here's how we got the kitten. I was taking my dogs into the vet, and next door, there's a pet store, and they have rescue kittens. And I knew the gal who had rescued this kitten, and she and her family had 5 dogs plus a 5-year-old child. So I knew, because it's not necessarily easy to find a kitten that's already been exposed to dogs. And my sweet Luna had already been exposed to dogs, so I was able to bring her home. So you can probably hear my Australian Shepherds whining a little bit in the background. So important to have a good technique for introducing them to each other. So Sweet Luna gets the entire Sugar Freedom office where I train. She's coming after me right now. So she's got the whole office. We've gone through the office and we've gotten all the cords up off of the floor. So there's no cables, no cords, and nothing that she can hurt herself with. And then we've got a great place for her litter box. And we've got, I will show you, I'll turn this, and we've got her cat tree. And we've got we've got some toys for her. I got this toy that runs around on the ground, and then also, where is it? Oh, of course. These are just the best, and this is the one that she can play with when we're sitting down and on the couch. I also want to call her the Carnivore Cat because kittens and cats are obligate carnivores. They are meat eaters. So she was on Science Diet, so I'm making the transition. She gets a little bit of Science Diet, and then I'm also, there she is, and I think it's okay, I'll hold her with one hand. And we're gonna start feeding her, we're looking certainly at putting her on a meat-based diet, and we're considering putting her on a raw diet. And this is a local turkey recipe, and I got this at Dusty's Den here in Tuolumne County. Here you go, she wants to get down. And this is frozen. Obviously it's thawing right now. I'm gonna thaw it in the refrigerator. And this is gonna give her a couple of feedings because we're still feeding dry with it. And this was about $2.90. So if you're talking about the really high-end raw carnivore raw meat cat food, it's gonna be running about $2.90 for this size of serving. Let me put my glasses on and I can tell you how big that is. So we're seeing a lot more. Okay, so this is 3.5 ounces, and for a little kitten, she's gonna get a couple of servings out of that. We're seeing a lot more options. Certainly there's a lot of grain-free cat food, but we had adopted a cat that had been feral, and we lost her to kidney disease. They say that a lot of feral cats do get kidney disease because they live out in the wild. They tend to be eating food and drinking water that isn't clean, and so that might be why. On the other hand, what may have contributed, and this is opinion, may have been having her on dry food for a number of years. By the time she started going to the, urinating all the time and having difficulties, it was already too late. So we want to start really early and keep our sweet Luna on a good diet. And since I'm pretty much carnivore keto, I'm eating pretty much meat and eggs and a little bit of heavy cream, and then I'm eating the vegetables that I grow in my garden. If I grow it, I usually eat it. So right now I've got lettuce and radishes and tomatoes are coming in. So I'm pretty much, if I'm having carbs, it's going to be a green salad. We've got some blackberries coming in. I might have a few of those because they're growing here. And squash is going to come in, and I tend to do very well with squash. So I'll add those, and then of course tomatoes, because those are so easy to grow. So Carnivore Catherine, Sugar Freedom Catherine, and we're going to have the Sugar Freedom Kitty, and we'll see how she does. I want to talk a little bit more about helping her connect with the Australian Shepherds. Literally, her bed is one of their beds. So she was on one of their beds last night, and then we put that bed in their room, and then we're switching out another one. I'll show you. So she's got this sweet little fleece to sleep on tonight, and this was Natasha's. So we're getting her scent. And then we also do introduction and we do some playtime, but I am always with the cat at all times. The reason why is that her playfulness can look like prey action. If she comes toward them and then darts away, it can ignite their prey instinct. So I want to spend a good deal of time acclimating them when we are together. And then if we have to leave her alone, she's in her own room, the door is locked, but she's got the windows and everything in here is safe. Heaven forbid we wouldn't want anything to happen to our sweet Luna. It would be very sad for her and for us, and also sad for the pups, because I believe they're going to be very, very good friends. Bottom line, the main reason we said we definitely want to adopt this kitten is that this kitten has already been in a household with 5 dogs. One of them a border collie that does agility, so very high energy dog. So she's very, very confident around the dogs. She hisses at the dogs, she'll bat at the dogs if they get too close to her, but of course I try not to let her get too close. The second subject of this video, different, why I missed my training session with you today, we went to get tested for COVID-19. So we went to the fairgrounds in Calaveras to get the test. And so why did we do that? I cantor at the Catholic Church, and that means singing. We're not singing now, we're just chanting, and I wear a mask, except I take it off just to do the responsorial psalm. And we're doing social distancing. We're having 2 services at the same time so that there's plenty of room for people to social distance. Everything has been cut short. What's normally almost an hour mass has been cut down to 30 minutes. We're doing everything we can. But I feel very strongly that I need to be tested for my own peace of mind to know that I am safe going in. But the other reason why is that a week after we went into stay at home, the stay at home order, I got very sick. And I want to go ahead and tell you my symptoms. I've gone ahead and written them out. Of course, this was back in March. So this would have been like a week after St. Patrick's Day. So sometime around like the 22nd of March, and we're already in June, well into June. So my symptoms: nausea, vomiting, fever, one of the worst headaches I've ever had in my life. But here's the thing that was really, really weird afterwards, and also the terrible night sweats, just like soaking night sweats, and then also these sudden rises of temperature all along my skin. I've been through menopause, so I felt hot flashes, and they felt like hot flashes, but they felt somehow different. It was like, I don't know, it was like they were coming from a different place. Of course, this is novel coronavirus, so these are novel symptoms. So fever, nausea, vomiting, gastrointestinal. My digestion was messed up. I won't go farther than that, but I think you know what I mean, right? All of these things, but not, what I did not have is I didn't have the dry cough, didn't have that, didn't have the feeling of not being able to catch my breath, or that feeling of, pressure on my chest. I didn't have those feelings, but I definitely, this is the thing that was so weird, and it was the thing that really freaked me out. I would be in the shower and I'd be washing my hair and I'd be like, oh my goodness, I can't smell my shampoo. And I use BioLage, the shampoo, and also the finishing rinse. And if you've used it, you can definitely smell that shampoo. And then also during this time, our Cecil Beaton roses, that are these big banks of pink roses, they were blooming outside, and I would be around them, watering them, and I was thinking, normally they're very fragrant, and I was like, oh no, I can't really smell these very well. And Luna is playing with the tripod right now. So that's what was going on. But what's really important in many ways, I seem to recover fine, but a number of things were going on. Number 1, hang on, I'm gonna get this. My blood glucose. All right. I have been testing my blood sugar ever since my pregnancy back in 2001. That was when I became obese and I couldn't lose the weight. But during pregnancy, I had impaired glucose tolerance. So I did not develop gestational diabetes. Dimitri, no. But my glucose tolerance was impaired, and I developed PIH, pregnancy-induced hypertension, where my blood sugar my blood pressure went out of control. And so I didn't have to go into the hospital, but they did put me on bed rest, which was really hard. I had never had high blood pressure before, and my blood glucose was just up and down like crazy, out of control. Impaired glucose tolerance, PIH, you've got a much higher risk of developing type 2 diabetes later in life if you have those conditions during pregnancy. So I just got in the habit of starting to test my blood sugar over a lifetime. And I'm just going to show you again. I have the meter. I have the Keto Mojo. And the nice thing about this is that this tests 2 different strips. I've got the ketone strips. I put a K on it, and I've got the glucose strips. So I can test both my ketones and my blood glucose. Number 1, since I'm holding this meter, for the first time since I started regularly testing my blood sugar, my blood sugars were in the pre-diabetic range, my fasting morning blood sugars. And that has never happened, not in years, not actually really since I started texting my blood sugar, because I didn't really start testing my blood sugar until I went sugar-free and then ketogenic. So I was in normal ranges after my pregnancy. But after this bout, after this illness, my blood sugar was no longer normal. So that really bothered me. So I went really strict on my carnivore. I tightened up my eating. I didn't have any extra foods, and things are back in the normal range. Totally normal, right around 85 in the mornings. And my ketones are back too, so that's good as well. The other issue, which was really quite serious, and this was confirmed actually by my dentist. I went into the dentist's office after things were opened back up, and they took my blood pressure, and it was like 150 over 90, 151 over 90. Now, that's very unusual for me because I'm very fit, and my blood pressure is usually like, 110 over 70. So that was a real shock to them and a shock to me. In addition, I got a pulse oximeter, and in the weeks after I was recovering, my blood oxygen was up and down. Sometimes it was normal, sometimes it was low, but what was really shocking, is that my resting heart rate was very, very bizarre. My normal resting heart rate is right around between 60 and 65. It's an athletic resting heart rate, and it's been like that for years. I kid you not, maybe there was something wrong with my pulse oximeter, but one morning I got up and I tested my resting heart rate, and it was 171. Excuse me? I was a certified personal trainer. I've been up to 171. I know what it takes for me to get to 171. I've got to be doing like insane kettlebell swings and doing the hardest training I can do to get to 171. So that was really a shock. I'm gonna go ahead and turn it on so you can see it. It lights up like that. And then I'm gonna just go ahead and put my finger in it. And it's going to test my blood oxygen and my heart rate. Blood oxygen is 97 and my heart rate is 84. 86, 87. That is high for me because I'm just sitting here talking to you. Now, I don't really expect it to be down at 63, but that is not, that's pretty unusual for me. I mean, normally I would have to be 85. Normally I'd have to be like up and doing something to get my heart rate up to 85. Just sitting here talking to a video camera would not be enough. It used to be that would have been in the 60s. So we're looking at a rise in my resting heart rate of around 20%. And this is definitely one of the symptoms that people are seeing for folks who have recovered from COVID-19. They're still seeing blood glucose abnormalities and still seeing heart rate abnormalities and definitely seeing blood pressure abnormalities. Now I've got a blood pressure cuff here at home and I've started taking my blood pressure and it's back to normal, but these home blood pressure cuffs, they always show me at like normal or low, so I'm not quite sure. So we went ahead and we got tested. Is it going to tell us if we have antibodies? No, it's not going to tell us that. All it's going to say is, do I have the infection? Can they detect the infection right now? Because this is not an antibody test. So we made an appointment. It was, I'll describe it. They put the swab up in your nose. They didn't twist it, but they get it right up in there and it tickles a little bit. And I felt a slight burning, and then they have a full count of 5 seconds, and then they remove it. And it feels a little odd for a while after they've taken it out. And then they're going to give us our results by email in 3 business days. So we're not getting kind of the latest. We're not getting these instant tests. We're not getting antibody tests. All that's really available to us is just that conventional. They put the swab up in there, and then you wait a couple of days to see what happens. So that's the story. I am still training. I'm still working out. After I finish this video, I'm going to go ahead and do my leg exercises. They're in another video. I did have to add the kettlebell swing warm-up, and then I did have to add, now Dimitri, I had to add Tabata intervals. That was Natasha making noise. That was strange. It was like Snoopy. And I've also added intervals afterward because I think I may have mentioned that this minimum dose of resistance training wasn't quite getting the job done, was not seeing any weight loss. But now I am. My waist is shrinking and my weight is coming down. We've got one more full week and then I'll report the full results from how that experiment went. All right, so go back, look, find the exercises. I do want to leave you with this understanding that resistance exercise can be very important for our recovery. The reason why is that lean muscle tissue is excellent for resetting that metabolic reset. One of the things that I learned that, ATP, of course, is produced in the muscles, but I didn't realize how specifically active the lean muscle tissue is in metabolizing glucose and keeping our glucose, especially somebody with impaired glucose tolerance, keeping that glucose under control. I believe, my theory is, Kitty, my theory is that one of the reasons why older people are having so much trouble is that we start to have the aging metabolism doesn't deal with glucose as well as the young metabolism does. I feel like up until about age 40 for women and age 50 for men, that you can handle the sugar fairly well in the general population. But what we really start to see is that as we age, that glucose tolerance just goes down and down. And the one way that we can maintain it is to lift weights. So I just want to leave you with this idea. Please drop sugar, lift weights so that you can feel healthy and happy and you can go out and do good things like rescue a kitten. And I just want to show you the kitten one more time. Where'd you go? Where's my Luna? Where's my Luna? I'm going to draw her out with her little toy. There she is. She's got a toy. Come here, baby. Oh, she just wants to play with the tripod. Okay, here she is. Here she is. Oh, there's my kitty. Let's give you a close-up. There she is. Okay, be well, everybody. And I will see you back on a regular schedule with another training session on Thursday. All right. Bye-bye, kitty.